Hello everyone, it's been a while since I've talked directly to you on this channel. So most of the content here is usually focused on highlights, and as I mentioned in this video, I wanted to switch things up a bit, go more inside my thought process so we can improve together. I didn't really know how to start this at first, but a few weeks ago Riot finally released the replay system, and I was like, insane. Let's VOD review together. So this is the first video of a brand new series called Inside My Mind. In each episode, I go through one of my games on a specific map and agent, and I'll share with you my thought process, my mistakes, and a few strategies that you can apply to your own matches. If you're new here, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm KGL, an 18 years old student who loves video games and want to compete at the highest level possible. This channel follows my journey to become a professional Valorant player. So if you also want to get better, learn more and enjoy clean highlights and tutorials, consider subscribing and leaving a like. It really helps a lot. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now I first want to talk about how the replay system completely changes the way you VOD review your games. With this feature, you can switch between every player's POV, which really helps you understand the enemy's thought process and how each round played out. However, the system still lacks a few key features like the team voice chat, so I combined the replay footage with my personal recording to get the best of both worlds. By reviewing my deaths, my positioning, and my decision making, you'll not only understand how to use the replay system effectively, but also how to improve your own analysis of your gameplay. This is just the first episode, so it's not perfect, but if you have any feedback or ideas to make the viewing experience better, drop a comment below and I read every single one of them. Okay, so before going through the actual VOD review, I just want to talk about how to play split in general. So kind of the split minigame. On attack, you basically want to plant open. You know, on both sides you have those default and open plants. On A it's like this one and this one. And basically you just want to avoid planting safe and try to plant open, because it opens up all of the possible area where you can play. You know, if you plant default on A, you can only play sights. You can only see the spike from sight. People just util them pure and you're getting fucked. So by planning open, you can play now from heaven, you can play city, you can even play sight, you can play main, and retaking becomes a lot more difficult when you have an open plant. On B it's the same, you know, by planting open you can play heaven, you can play city, you can play on site, you can play main obviously, and by planning default like that you can only play sites. You cannot see the spike from heaven, you cannot see the spike from main, you cannot see the spike from city. Plant open, this is the split minigame. Understanding that can help you understand why mid is so much important, because when you think about it, it becomes way easier to plant open when you have heaven control, right? Because if you don't have heaven control, you can just get spam from there, and this is why mid is really important. When you have mid control, taking heaven becomes easy. And by having heaven control, you can now plant open safely. That's why mid is really important. You know, by having vent control, you can go through heaven and then plant open. And you know, you have your teammates going through ramps or even main going through site, and this is really easy to plant open on those conditions. But if you don't, if you know you're getting blocked here, you don't have heaven control, planting is really difficult because you can get shot from heaven. So mid control is really important on split because it allows you to plant open safely. This is basically why pros, and when you see, you know, pros playing on splits, you try to take mid control, because it basically decides which team will win the round because of the open plant. So now that we know how to play split, let's talk about how to play Skye on this map. If you want to understand the game a lot more, you have to understand this concept. This is really simple. So when the barriers drop, you have 3 types of spaces. You have attacker spaces. Those spaces just belong to the attackers naturally. You know, you have ramen, you have A lobby, you have sewers. You know, the attackers don't have to fight for it. Basically have all of this space for free. The same applies to the defenders. They have all the sites for them, obviously. They have the heaven area. So those are 2 types of spaces. You have defender spaces and attacker spaces, and you have the neutral spaces. Those spaces don't belong to any team at the start of the round. They have to fight for it in order to have it. And now that I drew those boxes, you can understand why and when you should use utility. So we often see Skye players, you know, dog from there and, you know, getting into sites or going through ramps. And now that I drew those boxes, you can understand why. Because this dog allows you to take all the neutral space by going through ramps, or it allows your teammates to push through a defender space. You often see Skye players flash, you know, they just flash and they just guide it towards the ramps. And this is really important because it allows your teammates to go past this neutral space and allows your teammate to push through and get into the defender space. The same thing applies to mid. You know, you see Skye players just dog from this corner and get through mid like that, or even vent. So this dog basically allows your teammate to push through a neutral space and get inside a defender space. So yeah, understanding this concept can help you have a lot more wise utility usage. That's really logical, but now basically helps you not waste any more utility. And from these concepts, you have a lot more complex gameplays and strats. You know, pros will often fight for the neutral space right here, the mid area, because it allows you to plant open, as we said. So from there you have, you know, utility usage equivalents. You know, you basically trade a flash because they smoke, so it's 1-for-1 utility. You know, utility is really important. It doesn't do all of the work, but you know, like 80% of the time the team that uses more utility gets the space. If the attackers use a nade and a flash to get past a omen smoke, it's 2 utility against 1. So they basically have the space like 80% of the time. I use more utility, so I get the space. Logic. Understanding that you need to plant open on splits. You don't always need mid control, but it helps you a lot to plant open and to win rounds. Playing initiator is mainly helping your team pushing through another space. This theory doesn't apply to all of your games. You can have games on split where you just run it down on A as 5 and it's gonna work because it's ranked, you know. In practice, it might be different, you know. Think about it. When you don't really know how to play the map, I think it's really helpful. Okay, I actually started to record after the pistol. So can you smoke melee and just go vent? So here I just call a mid push because of the minigame. My mistake right here, I think, is to call a melee smoke. It basically opens up an event line and the enemy Skye just by a marshal, we just getting fucked. So I would cut maybe like a mid smoke that block the melee line, but also the events line. So Sage wall, I just break it, and now I just wanna wait for the slows to flash out and try to fight for the space. You know, a player can be behind and a player can be in this corner, so I just call to my neon to wait for the slows and then I flash out, flashing after the slow. and my neon gets one. You know, on anti-eco rounds, you don't want to give the other players weapons, and here you just basically block yourself in a position where you cannot escape. Plus, the mail smoke allows us to kill the Skye without being traded by the Sage. So yeah, really bad plays right here. Yeah, he's just getting, and honestly, really common angle. My neon just cleared this angle really fast and naturally. So here another bad play from me is this one.
Wait, I'm gonna kill the man, wait!
So I wanna push out the slows, you know, don't respect the slows, so I can grab the weapon, take more space. I wanted to go in this corner right here. The Sage slows basically buy time for their Veto to rotate. You can see this on the replay now. Veto just had time to rotate because Sage slows, it buys summit time, so he just has a free pick on me. And he got traded by my chamber, but honestly, if he played that well, he just back off. And I can't get traded. And my jet was lurking. I just had to wait a little bit more.
One enemy remaining.
Nice save. Really luckily we ended up getting the round. Okay, so here another thing with the replay system is now you can see how your pick looks like from other POV. So here I die to Omen on a clutch, you know. I'm on a 1v2 situation, so I wanna take one out before they can regroup and push us two. But my pick was really bad. First, you can see that I was aiming for the head when Omen was 1 HP.
1 HP, Omen!
And we can hear my jet telling me that Omen is 1 HP. So aiming for the head here is a mistake. First, my crosshair placement is off, but I have to aim for, you know, a body shot. I go on a slow pick right here, really bad. And now we can see the Omen POV on this pick. Yeah, he basically have 3 business days to react. This is a mechanical mistake right here. I die because my mechanics were bad. Yeah, another mistake. So here it's a mechanical mistake again. Like my pick is bad. We can see this on Sage POV. My pick is bad. So here my jet dashes, so I want to push out the smoke because we can even see this on the Sage POV. Now she has like 2 angles to hold, you know. She's scared that my jet can pick from the left, so I want to play on that. But we can see that I'm moving diagonally. You don't want to move diagonally like that. So yeah, we can see here that the pick is bad, but also I should have used the flash right here. Really easy to think about it right now, but if we remind the split minigame and the concept of spaces with those quantity of util used to take a space, mid area belongs to them because they used more utility. You know, they used Omen Smoke, they used Sage Slows, a Sage Wall, so it's 3 utility, and we used only a Jet Dash and my dog. So this is 3 utils against 2. Again, util isn't everything on this game, but now I have to think that yeah, they used more utilities, so naturally the mail space belongs more to them. So I should use a flash here. First because basically blinds Sage and it's a free kill, but also because I have to understand that the space belongs more to them. So I have to use another utility to get this space. And my pick was bad. Again, understanding and reminding myself this concept. You know, here I use a flash, so this is good to take the neutral space right here. But here I basically enter the defender space, so I have to use another utility to get the space. You cannot get this space without any form of utility. If you just dry picking into a space that doesn't belong to you, like, you're just getting fucked. And you can see that you can be tens in this situation, you can be the best player in the world, you can take one but not the two. And I end up just getting nobody. So yeah, using the second flash here is important because I'm entering the defender space. I'm saying that I have to use a utility here to take the defender space because I'm an initiator. Obviously, playing another role like Sentinel, the way you will approach those spaces are really different. This is, I think, the way you should approach those spaces as an initiator. So yeah, it's basically it for the attack side. And we can see another mistake on the position here. I try to play vent because, you know, mid is really important on this map. I know that, so I kinda wanna fight for this space. But here they have a Sage, and the default play for Sage players is obviously to wall vent. And breaking a wall, a Sage wall, isn't really the main problem, but I have a classic, so yeah, really bad position here, I cannot help. You can see here that I want to flash out and fight for it. But I'm just getting walled off, and now my timing is off, and now they basically have all of B open because my chamber just died and I cannot help my team. So if they don't have a Sage, the basic play is to let them push out of the smoke here and pick after to backstab them. And this is why this Sage wall is really strong. It basically stops me from doing this. So yeah, now I just have to rotate through spawn, and this is why we often see, like I saw Derek, he start here so that he can help his teammate on A, or he can fast rotate through spawn and help his team on B. So yeah, they basically have all of B open. My retake options are only a flash. Buying a dog would have been better, as I can dog out heaven. But as I only have a flash, I'm just getting through city, and you know, I'm just getting in the city smoke, flash out and try to do something. Thankfully, they just try to get their hero play on their own, so we just win the round. So this is something, we will talk about this later on, but the B site is really the main area where I struggle. Retaking from there is really bad because they have all of those Sage slows, and they have close range weapon like the Buckies. We can see the Spectres. Here I know Raze is here, but we can see that my crosshair placement isn't good. I have to aim lower. This is just for my game knowledge. And here I'm just getting fucked, and we end up losing the round. The B side is really a part where I struggle. So here I stack on A, but let me tell you why this is a bad choice. Stacking isn't the problem here, is the A site option. So they went on B, they won, they went mid, they won, so just ask yourself, why would they go A? This is a simple question, but like, why would they go A? And that's true, why would they go A? They just won on B. So yeah, this is a really bad stack, honestly. You know, we won on B, B is working, just go B again. Don't overcomplicate this. So yeah. Thankfully, they're just doing a horrible B split with like those 3 players going B main and the 2 most important players going mid. Honestly, I just would have switched the 2 groups. They did this on pistol and it worked, but now they just switched the groups. I don't know why. Honestly, the B main area is really easy to take. You don't really need 3 players, whereas the mid area is really difficult to take because we know this is really important, so we're gonna fight for it. Plus Omen has the spike, so if Omen dies here, they have to take mid control in order to take the spike. So yeah, right here the other team just use a dog and see that B is open. So this is why Veto start to rotate to B, because he doesn't want to give any weapon on mid. But their Omen just want to take, you know, some spam, and he ends up getting killed. So yeah, really bad split from them, because now they have all the sides. They have all of B side, but they don't have the spike. We just ended up getting the spike for free. So now, as I know, this is a B split because they smoked vent, and the spike is right here. I know at least one more guy is here. We know it's Veto, so I just flash.
Spike down mid.
I end up getting the kill, finally, and now we just win the round because of that.
Nice fucking round.
So now I'm going on A site, and now this become a good play because they just lost on the B and the mid area, so A is now their only option, if I can say that. This is another psychological concept to understand, is that players don't want to repeat their mistakes. So by losing on B, they don't want to repeat the mistakes, they don't want to lose again, so they're going A. This is really simple, but you can pretty much guess their position right like 80% of the time. So here I'm just playing on site, and I'm holding this off angle. This is very good. You can see this is another good thing about the replay system, is now we can see whether you like the angle you're holding is good or not. So here my jet gets one, and we can see that my off angle is good. Why? Because we can see here Raze isn't looking at me at all, and when we rewind a little bit, we can see that he's not even thinking about this angle. So this is a great off angle. He's just completely surprised, and obviously like no smokes, no help from his team, so easy kill. And here I'm just chasing my eco frags because my game is horrible, so I just want a lot. I just want kills.
All free, all free, all free.
I'm getting more confidence here, and we can see it on the next play. So now we just won on A, so they don't want to repeat their mistakes. So I pretty much guess they're going B. You know, maybe it's a B split, maybe it's a B rush, but I know, I'm guessing they're going B because they just got fucked on A. Yo, bait the shots, chamber, just pick TP, and I flash. So here my thought process is like, yeah, Chamber picked B main every single round from the beginning of the defender side, so I just want to play on that. He's gonna take some shots, like as usual, he's gonna TP out as usual, but then I'm gonna flash out, because you know, when you're taking B main, you hear Chamber taking some shots and TP out, and you're just thinking, yeah, B main is open. So I kinda want to play on that, and you know, surprise them with a flash.
Sure.
If there's anything mid, can you smoke?
But their veto is just different, bro. their veto is just different. We can see on his POV, I think, that my Chamber's pick was bad also. Let's see. Yeah, he stopped a little, so we could see his arm, and then when he picked, he just got fucked. So bad pick here. But now we can see if my play was good or not, if Veto was expecting a flash or not. And we can see that he doesn't expect me at all. You know, he's just running it because he just killed Chamber. Chamber was B main alone every time, so now B main is open for him. He doesn't expect the flash, so now we know, thanks to this feedback, that this play was good. This play was good. Okay, another good example for the concept of spaces. Here I'm playing a judge, and I kinda wanna, you know, get some free kills out of that. They went mid a lot, so I'm like, yeah, let's take some free kills. But I didn't realize they had result. Mid.
Fuck's sake.
Mid.
Give all the vents, they're gonna go heaven.
This is another good example of the utility equivalence I talked about. We can see that they used everything that they could in order to take mid. So here they're using a Skye blind, they're using an Omen smoke, that's 2 utility, they're using a Sage slow, and we are using a Clove smoke, but they're using a Boombot and a Skye dog. They're using a Sage wall, so now we know that this neutral space is now theirs. So now they will use more utility to get on this defender space. What is the utility they're gonna use? Obviously a result, because the defender space is more complicated, more difficult to take than a neutral space. So you basically want to use the powerful ults to get those space. And I wanted to do that on the first try. But you can see me like approaching this area right here. But then I leave, and I think this is bad. I should have went for the play right here, you know, just tell my Clove to, yeah, don't smoke. I'm gonna flash and try something. Try to fight for the neutral space, so they're using more utility to get this, and they have less utility to get on the heaven space. This is another great off angle you can use, because basically hold all of the A area with that. So if you can have one of your teammates or yourself holding this line, you can tell your teammates on the A side to rotate, you know. You just hold like that, and we can see on the Sage POV that he's not expecting this. You know, he's clearing heaven, he's clearing ramps, but he's not expecting this off angle at all. So we can now see that this off angle is good and that you can use it. So yeah, I'm losing again on the B side. So this is something I have to work on. This is when watching pro VODs comes to an help. Now I identified main struggle. So yeah, retaking B is my main difficulty here. I can go through a pro VOD and see how do they retake B. Do they use their utility in a different way that I use them? Do they fight for the B sites before playing retake? Do they directly fight in sites for that? Oh yeah, remember that. So this is embarrassing, bro. This is a great reminder that you can do the good thing and still lose. So here I'm going for a lurk because I haven't tried it. So even if they have a sentinel, I'm like, let's go for a lurk, you know. But as they're taking heaven, I realized that they have vent open. So now that they have vent open, they can go through mid and B. And you know, they know we know they're 5 on A, so they're probably gonna rotate. And I know that. That's why I'm backing off. I just cancel my lurk to hold mid. And this was a good guess until I just whiff every bullet and I'm getting fucked. So you can do the good thing but still losing. My guess was good but the execution wasn't, and yeah, we just end up losing the game. So to wrap it up, I would say that we have, you know, some mechanical mistakes, you know, some slow peaks right in here, but the main thing I have to work on a lot more on this attack side, just reminding me in the game this concept of utility usage, all the concept I talked to you, just to understand where to use my utility. On the defender side, I have to work on the B side. Yeah, I just really struggle to retake B. So I think this is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and if you have any recommendation, any agent or maps you want to see on this series, drop a comment. This is always a pleasure to see your feedback on any videos I'm posting on this channel. And yeah, that's it. See you on the next one, guys.